welcome to episode 5, Soul Style, Finding Faith Through Life's Trials. I'm Courtney Striefler.
I'm Abby Booth.
Molly Motz.
I'm Lisette Wade.
And we are your hosts for Soul Style. So Soul Style is our faith-based podcast based upon Matthew 5:13 through 16, salt and light. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its taste, it cannot be made salty again. Salt is useless if it loses its salty taste. It will be thrown out where people will just walk on it. You are the light that shines for the world to see. You are like a city built on a hill that cannot be hidden. People don't hide a lamp under a bowl. They put it on a lampstand. Then the light shines for everyone in the house. In the same way, you should be a light for other people. Live so that they will see good things and see the good things that you do and praise your Father in heaven. So today we just want to get started with reinforcing why we all came together to put our podcast to life. And today we want to talk about finding faith through life's trials. And as we talk through some of this today, I think you'll see we've all had different trials that we've gone through in our lives and kind of how our faith has helped us get through them. So who wants to share first about a trial that they've gone through and maybe how it helped strengthen you and strengthen your faith?
Yeah. Where do you begin?
Yeah.
I have a specific incident. I have many, obviously, but the first one that I know that got me through everything in life was in 2008. I had an abduction incident. It was extremely terrifying, obviously, and if I didn't have faith, I don't know where I would be. I would probably be here, but I'm saying I have no idea what kind of ditch I would be in if I didn't know to pray and to know to have faith that everything would be upwards. So that has definitely, I got believe without proof tattooed on me after that, because if you don't, you don't go anywhere. You don't.
Absolutely.
You could really stay in the dark for a very long time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I've been through trials. Obviously, anybody who knows me knows I've probably been through a lot the past year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I recently divorced after 22 years of marriage, and shortly after my divorce, I lost my brother, and so I'm still walking through a lot of trials and healing from a lot of things. But I would say probably the biggest trial was, the ending of my marriage, and obviously new life and new beginnings for my children and myself. And but I remain faithful, and I trusted that God would see me through, and He has. And so where I am at today, I'm very thankful because my faith and the walk with the Lord, I trusted Him that He would lead me to new beginnings and brighter things, and He has, and I'm not done yet. And so that was probably the biggest trial that I faced. Obviously, losing my brother 4 weeks after that, there's a lot of healing that's still taking place in that.
That you couldn't have without faith.
Yeah, that I
You
couldn't
just
have without
couldn't.
faith.
Definitely.
But I have, I've spent a lot of time, asking Lord why, or how come, or why me, or but I had to, especially in my marriage, realize, like, God will see you through things, and sometimes your tragedy, or what you feel is a tragedy, is actually a blessing. And I know some people might be like, I can't believe you just said that. Yeah, I did.
No, I agree.
did.
I agree.
I did.
It
I
makes
said
you
it.
stronger.
And
Yes.
it makes me stronger. It makes me stronger as a mother and as a woman. And I'm going to keep on moving forward. And so I'm no longer going to look at that as a negative. I'm going to look at it as it is what it is. And I know God has greater things in store for myself and my children. But if I had not had faith and I had not had the Lord, I wouldn't have made it through either. So that's
Yeah.
And tragedies can definitely bring us closer to the Lord,
Mhm.
and just have our faith be restored and strengthened.
Mhm.
And if you don't have a spiritual relationship with a God that we all know is good, it's real easy to go down the rabbit hole of despair
Absolutely.
and stay there.
I mean, if you think about it, look at Job in the Bible.
Oh.
Satan said, take this stuff away from Job, and he's not going to follow you anymore. Well, God doesn't do anything, does not do anything negative to us. He won't. He is incapable. He won't. He loves us too much. But he said, okay, Satan, go ahead. Job is still going to be faithful to me. And Satan took his family, his livelihood, his health, and Job still remained faithful to God. He still said, I love you, I trust you, I know this. You know, Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans that you have for me, plans to prosper, plans for good and not evil. So we have to believe in that. We have to rest in that.
Absolutely. I thought it's a lot of it is an attack, and you could have walked that walk, and then I realized, you know what? You're gonna have to come better than that. Devil, you're gonna have to come better than that, because I'm not going out. And so, I, like you said, it's like to take a look at the tragedies and the trials that you've been through, and ask the Lord, like, okay, so what am I gonna learn from this? What are you trying to teach me? Where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to grow? What do you want me to do? And if you can shift that focus on what God's purpose is for you, you'll find your way, but
You have to put
like
by
yeah,
faith.
that's
you
by
really
faith,
do.
and that's
You have
hard
to.
when
It
you're
is,
hit with
it
everything
is.
in front of you.
Especially because the devil tells you so many things that you want to hear.
Exactly.
But you can spiral down that hole. I lost my husband in 2020, and same thing. Like, you can sit and say, why me? And if you don't ask the Lord to help you and to be there with you, and He will, 100%.
Exactly.
So if you don't put that faith there, you'll be dark for a very long time.
Yep.
You know, I lost my little cousin 6 months ago. Young 30s, happily married, baby girl who just entered kindergarten. And our entire family, I could have, I had the chance to share Jesus with my family through Ross, through losing Ross, knowing that Ross had that relationship with Jesus. When I went over and said, dude, where are you at with Jesus? And he had that relationship, and it was awful, and it was painful, and I still cry, and it's still hard, but I take solace in knowing that through that, so many of us were able to share Jesus with so many people. I stood up at his funeral because his brother, my other cousin, asked me, Abby, share Jesus, just share Jesus. At least 200 people got to hear the message of salvation. There was a seed planted. Whether anything happened with that, I may never know. We may never know. But I was able to rest in that. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad for us, but those that know Jesus, they wouldn't come back from heaven if they could. Let's be realistic when you think about that. He's going, staying here. So that was a big, and I've lost other friends and family members, and without that relationship with Jesus, it'd be woe is me. I'd be angry. You'd be bitter. I'm not bitter.
You would stay in the bitter. You would stay in the dark because it consumes you.
Definitely.
You have to find that light.
I look at Paul. Paul's my Bible crush, in case anyone wants to know if that's a thing. Y'all may think that's weird, but Paul is my Bible crush. He started out as Saul, and he persecuted Christians. And he killed them, and anything that got in the way of what the Jewish Old Testament laws said, he said, nope, you're dead. But he met Jesus on the road to Damascus, and he blinded him. And through that, he was led to Damascus, where he was saved, and he came to know Jesus, and he was baptized. We have free will. We make our choices, but we're not free from the consequences of those choices. Paul went to jail multiple times. He was stoned. He was in several shipwrecks. But he still, throughout all of those trials and those tribulations, wrote letters. Like, the entire book of 2 Timothy was written in Mamertine prison in Rome, which I had the privilege of standing in when I was in college on a missions trip. It is literally, they lowered you down this hole into this dark, and there was a hole for water and a hole for the bathroom, and do not mix those up. And he still wrote letters proclaiming the beauty and the love of Jesus. I mean, he could have. So if we look at Job and we look at Paul, our trials are
We're
nothing.
Joe
Yeah.
Block. Yeah.
Our trials are nothing compared to that, you know? And CR, Celebrate Recovery, that our church has, a lot of people say, hey, if you go to CR, you're going to see someone else is worse off than you when you think about it. So, and they're still praising Jesus and sharing him and getting through, because we do it together, right?
Exactly.
And, that's why we have each other.
Exactly.
Well, life's trials definitely don't spare any one of us. And I would say I've had many trials in my life, some of which I'm not yet willing to share on this forum. Someday I will.
And they don't always have to be tragic to be a
No,
trial.
No way.
No.
It could just be beating you down mentally or physically or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. And I do one day want to do my testimony, and I don't know what that will look like, but I anticipate it will have something to do with you girls being a part of it. But it's going to be in a little while because I'm still working through some stuff.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest trials, I would say, was the day of my only sibling's wedding. Kevin got married back in 2010 when I was pregnant with my youngest son, Case. I was 36 weeks pregnant, and I remember my brother speaking these words to me frequently, and when he said, "Don't steal my limelight," and I would always laugh at him, and I'm like, "What do you think I'm gonna do? Like go into labor? Like I have 4 more weeks, Kev. I'm good. And we were driving from the church to the reception hall, and we had stopped to get some pictures at the castle in Alliance, and all was well. And my oldest son, Trenton, was begging me to ride with Laura's little nephew. And I was like, we're just going down the street, that isn't necessary. And of course, her sister just said, just let him ride with me. Put his booster seat in the car and just let him ride with me. And I was like, okay, if you don't care. It's literally 2 minutes down the road. So I did, and shortly thereafter, I'm driving down Union, heading towards YMCA, the little Charsham
Car
dealership that is there on the corner. And I'm going through a green light, and everything changed in a blink of an eye. A lady had ran a red light. She T-boned me on my driver's side and caused my car to roll at least 3 to 4 times. I lost track, but I know it was a minimum of 3. And if you know that intersection, there's poles, fire hydrants on all corners. It's a main intersection on the corner of Union and Broadway. And I managed to roll without hitting anything. And when it was done, I was upside down and the nose of my car was facing back in the direction I was coming from. The back of my car was facing towards
The fire station.
Yeah.
The fire station's there. So.
Yeah. And all I could think about was how to get out. So I remember smelling gas and turning my car off. I remember looking up at the light when I was rolling, going, was it really green? And I could see that it was. And then I remember the lady that hit me coming over to talk to me, and me very sternly saying, don't talk to me right now, I need to get out. And so I turned my car off. I realized my driver's side was above my head. The passenger side window was on the ground, on the cement. Everything was crushed. The roof was crushed, the windows, the airbags had all deployed. It was full of smoke from the airbags. And I finally figured out what that handle is for above your head, and I called it, I had a different word at the time, but I'm not going to repeat what I called it. I called it the O-poop bar.
Yes.
Oh, crap handle.
Yes.
I grabbed a hold of it while being 36 weeks pregnant in heels, because I wasn't going to be round and short for my brother's wedding.
And a very flowy dress. I was there. I
A
remember
flowy
the dress.
and I lowered myself out of that seat belt, and I climbed out through the back of the hatchback. I had a little CRV, a little Honda CRV SUV, and the lady came back that hit me, and she wanted to talk to me, and I looked at her and I go, there's gas everywhere, we need to get away from the car. I just remember thinking safety. And the firefighters finally got there. I was out of the car before they even got there. My brother was 3 cars back, and I truly remember vividly seeing my brother scared for the first time in my entire existence. It was the first time that I knew that if I was dead, he would miss me. crazy to some, my brother and I have always been like cats and dogs. Like, we always argued when we were young, but I know we both love each other. I actually really adore my brother. It took 30 some years for us to get there. But that day, the moral of the story is that event changed my walk with God. I had separated myself from him for a while, not completely, like I always heard from him here and there, but I wasn't walking in faith at that time. I was walking in what I wanted to do. I no longer heard from him every day. I didn't feel a connection with him like I had when I was young, when I was very much full of Jesus and oozed out and lost friends because I talked about Jesus and it made them uncomfortable. But I went back because of her, because of Abby. I got back into church. She had been begging me for 3 years.
I can be very persistent.
She had already planted the seed, so I knew where I was going after that, and I got back. But that day, I definitely felt God with me. I remember praying in that moment as I'm turning, God, just let me be okay from this. Let me walk away from this.
You had a miracle.
I did have a miracle.
Because that would have killed most babies. But why did you get a miracle? How was Case kept extra safe?
So I had a double placenta, and I ended up having him on his due date 4 weeks later. But at the beginning of my pregnancy, I had lots of things going on that they couldn't really explain, and they said there was a little bit of extra cushion because at the beginning of my pregnancy, I was pregnant with twins, but I had lost one. So there's just a little bit of extra things in there that normally wouldn't be, in case was able to be, full term and healthy and well. But that event changed the rest of my life. Like, I can never go back from that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. I mean,
God puts things in our life. Sorry, I've been in scripture a lot lately, and I like sharing it. I'm trying to find it so we can close out. Well, we talked about Job. We don't talk about him anymore. He makes me uncomfortable sometimes. Not really. Psalm 9, 9, and 10 says, "The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And those who know your name will put their trust in you, for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you." I mean, I think each one of our stories shows that that's where we take our refuge. And no matter how far from God you feel this second, even if you don't know him,
you can call his name.
you call his name and he's there. He's right there.
That's right.
He is knocking on that door to your heart.
Call his
You
name.
just have to open it up.
And we're never too far away.
Never
We
too
can't
Yeah.
go back.
You know,
You could be happy, you could be sad, you could be angry. You just need to call him.
calling his name. Church is a hospital for the hurt, not a hotel for the perfect. So I say, get yourself in a community. Get yourself in a church. God calls us to be in a community because sometimes you can't carry yourself through, but you need friends.
Exactly.
You need community to pick you up and carry you and hold you and pray you through these trials to get you through, because sometimes you might not be able to pray yourself through it, but your friends will. Get someone that won't just pray for you, they'll pray with you. And they'll drag you kicking and screaming because they know where you're supposed to be. They know that Jesus wants you. So on that note, look at your trials and look at them as a way to draw closer to Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, reach out to someone. Put a message in the comments here. Leave us your email. We'll reach out to you. We are more than happy to do that. We want to know what's going on with you guys. Share some of your trials. Share some of the ways that you have drawn closer to Christ through those. And
If you've had a miracle, share them.
definitely share your miracles.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And on that note, you're enough. You're enough in God's eyes, and those are the only eyes that matter. So thanks for watching our episode, and we look forward to hearing from you guys.
We'll see you soon for episode 6.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.